We're one day closer to free agency, and fans are demanding the Dallas Mavericks to make a move. We just made the playoffs, but it's more than just making the playoffs. We want to win the playoffs, and everybody's been saying it. We need a third scorer. And we made a video the other day about Paul George possibly coming to the Dallas Mavericks, what that would look like, what kind of trade you got to set up, and ultimately, that just can't happen. But there is a player that everyone's been calling for that's coveted across the league, and that's Mikal Bridges of the Brooklyn Nets. And in this video, we're going to talk about Mikal Bridges, the type of player he is, how he fits on this Dallas Mavericks team, and if there's another option that might be available for trade or sign in this offseason. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we start with today's video, 8.8% of you guys have that bell notification rang. It might be the offseason, but it's not my offseason. The Dallas Mavericks are making moves every day, and we are dropping content every single day. And if you want to be up to date on everything that the team does, make sure you ring that bell. But, like I said, Mikal Bridges is a player who is coveted across the entire league. Got traded from the Phoenix Suns to the Brooklyn Nets in that trade for Kevin Durant. And the Brooklyn Nets are very reluctant to even trade Mikal Bridges. And in a report just not too long ago, the Brooklyn Nets have turned down trade offers consisting of a horde of first-rounders for Mikal Bridges. They continue to show zero interest in trading him and would like to build around him and another star. According to league sources, Brooklyn's front office has told teams it views Bridges as a co-star to whichever big name it can trade for down the line. And I don't know who's over there in the front office who truly believe that they can get a star to come to Brooklyn to play alongside Mikal Bridges. It's just beyond me. Yeah, you also got Cam Thomas. You also got Ben Simmons. It's a very odd situation going over there in Brooklyn, which in reality, they may just want to start over. Just trade away your talent that you do have, get picks back, go into the draft well, do what the Oklahoma City Thunder did. Because I don't see players flocking to Brooklyn. I think when they had Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden, that may have overinflated how important Brooklyn is in the landscape in the NBA, where you got players choosing to go to the Knicks rather than Brooklyn. But if we look at this right here, let's see what type of player Mikal Bridges really is. For the regular season, he averaged 19.6 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 0.4 blocks, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, and 1.4 fouls per game, while shooting 43% from the field, 37% from 3. He shoots 40% on corner threes, 88% of his threes are assisted, and 45% of all shots are threes. Honestly, he's a very well-rounded player. Maybe not your number one, maybe not your number two, but he would be a solid number 3. I know a lot of people, maybe you want Mikal Bridges, but you feel like, well, we got PJ. Would it even work? Well, if you fail to bring back Derrick Jones Jr., and if we can somehow put an amazing trade package for Mikal Bridges, a starting lineup of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, PJ Washington, Mikal Bridges, and either Daniel Gafford, Derrick Lively doesn't look that bad to me. But if you can keep Derrick Jones Jr., and if you're Nico Harrison and you cook up some crazy harebrained scheme type of trade to get the Brooklyn Nets to send you Mikal Bridges, this team is ready to win. I think any team that has playoff, if not even just playoff, finals aspirations that are ready to make that push, Mikal Bridges is definitely the player that you want to get when you've got a star like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, who are amazing ball handlers. But you have a backup in Mikal Bridges, who not only can bring the ball down, he can defend at a very high level. One of the league's best point of attack defenders, one of the best, who can also score, create his own shot. He takes off a lot of pressure from players like Luka Doncic and Kyrie that will allow them to flourish, that allow the team to operate on a whole nother level. But we do have somewhat of a news update regarding Mikal Bridges and if the Brooklyn Nets are willing to actually trade him. The new update that just came out saying the Knicks, Jazz, and Rockets are 3 teams that have been checking on Mikal Bridges' availability. Brooklyn Nets swingman Mikal Bridges, according to league sources, is a player to monitor among Utah's most aggressive aspirations. The Jazz are said to be right in the mix with Houston, holding the number 3 pick, in New York with 3 of Bridges' college teammates currently playing. Among the teams that continue to check with Brooklyn about the availability of its 27-year-old swingman. So, at first, the Brooklyn Nets were like, no, we're not trading Mikal Bridges. He's a cornerstone. We believe he could be the co-star to anybody in the league that wants to come to Brooklyn. And I think the tune has changed when they realized after a full season, and now we're in the offseason, free agency's around the corner, no one's talking about their stars wanting to go to Brooklyn. Like I said, I think their value was overinflated when they had Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden, because players just aren't flocking to Brooklyn. They're going to the Knicks. That's where most players want to go when they want to go to New York. But if they are looking to move Mikal Bridges, I don't think the Dallas Mavericks have nearly enough to make that push. We don't really have any good first-round picks. We only have the 2025, the 2026, and the 2030 first-round pick, and we can't even move the 25 and 26 together. And as far as young assets, you would probably have to put Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, Omax. You don't move Derrick Lively for nothing. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Brooklyn Nets would want Derrick Lively in a trade for Mikal Bridges. So is it a reality for the Dallas Mavericks to get Bridges? Absolutely not. There's a lot of teams that are obviously making a big push for him, like the Knicks, like the Jazz, like the Rockets, that have better trade assets and trade picks, with picks as well as players. But is there a player amongst the league that's entering free agency that the Dallas Mavericks could actually go after that's somewhat of a pseudo Mikal Bridges? Well, this was reported just the other day that OG Anunoby has declined his $19.9 million player option for next season. A league source tells Athletic, an expected move. Anunoby will officially begin an unrestricted free agent this summer. Free agency begins June 30th. And is OG Anunoby the replacement for Mikal Bridges? Well, let's just check that out. For the season, OG Anonuby put up 14.7 points, 4.2 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 0.7 blocks, 1.4 steals, 1.6 turnovers per game, along with 2.4 fouls, while shooting 48% from the floor, 38% from three. He's a 6'7" forward. He shoots 45% on corner threes. 96% of his threes are assisted, while 46% of all shots are threes. If we're talking 3-and-D, if we're talking about a guy that can just play lockdown defense, who can guard the 1 through 5 and can create his own shot on the other end of the court, look no further than OG Anunoby, who while on the Toronto Raptors became one of their best defenders, getting traded to the New York Knicks and continuing to be an amazing defensive threat while also being able to create his own shot, put the ball on the floor and attack the basket. And just to go back to just how great he is on defense, OG Anunoby can defend the 1 through 5. If we were able to somehow get OG Anunoby, you can put him in as the 5, go small, and that's totally fine. Now, the reality of us being able to get OG Anunoby, in my opinion, is a little bit more realistic than Mikal Bridges, where OG is an unrestricted free agent, as opposed to Mikal Bridges, where a trade would have to happen that we can't afford whatever they would want. But OG Anunoby, who's declining his $19 million contract, is expected to get upwards of $30 to $32 million a year. And in comparison, if we were to get someone like Jeremy Grant, who is owed about $26, $28 million this upcoming season, going up to $30, $32, $36 million, OG Anunoby might be somewhat of a better option that you can get. Yeah, you would have to pay a little bit more now, but it would definitely make sense. And similar to Mikal Bridges, if you had a lineup of OG Anunoby and PJ Washington as your starting wings, that is just defensive hell for any team that we have to go up against, where OG and PJ can guard the other team's best 2 players. And Luka Doncic and Kyrie get an easy pass on defense and can do whatever they want on offense. OG Anunoby, along with Mikal Bridges, are 2 of the type of players this team needs. A 3-and-D player. We need a player who can score. We need a player who can still defend, because as a team that is just amazing on defense, we don't want to sacrifice that by getting a player who's maybe good offensively but is a little bit lazy on defense. Whoever we go after, whoever we get, I think Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are 2 of the players that we might need to find in another player. And when it comes to OG Anunoby, yes, his scoring is exactly where you need as a third option. His defense is phenomenal. He definitely creates for other people. The downside to a player like OG Anunoby is the complete opposite from the big upside from Mikal Bridges. With Mikal Bridges, he hasn't missed a single game in the 6 seasons that he's been in the league, whereas OG Anunoby is known to get injured quite often. And if you're not too familiar, when the Toronto Raptors won their championship with Kawhi Leonard about 6 or 7 years ago, OG Anunoby was injured that entire playoff run. Didn't see the court not once. And then just this past playoffs with the New York Knicks, he was injured again in the second round. So if we were able to go after someone like OG Anunoby, who is going to command upwards of $30 million, do you think we could get him for a little bit less knowing his injury history? Or do you think the upside from OG just trumps all the injuries and all the downside? You let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you guys for making this far into the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing another giveaway. The winner will be announced the first week of July. But until next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.